God gives power and strength to his people. Psalm 68:35. Do you want to go to heaven? What do you want to see there? What do you want to do? The Bible tells us that Elijah was taken to heaven. This week's lesson is called Up, Up and Away! Elijah woke up. A beautiful smile spread over his face. Today was the day. Today was his last day on earth. God had told him so. Today, God will take him to heaven. Elijah and his special helper Elisha talked. I am going to Bethel to visit the school of the prophets, Elijah said. You stay here. But Elisha also knew that this was Elijah's last day on earth. I will never leave you, Elisha exclaimed. I will go with you. Elijah and Elisha started on their journey. Elijah visited many of his friends that day. He told them goodbye. Late that afternoon, God told Elijah to cross over the Jordan River. The river was deep and there was no bridge. Elijah stopped on the riverbank and took off his cloak. He rolled it up and hit the water with it. The water divided and there was a dry path for Elijah and Elisha to walk across. What can I do for you before the Lord takes me away? Elijah asked his friend. I want to carry on your work, Elisha said. I want him to give me his power like he gave it to you. If you see me when I'm taken away, you will have what you're asking for, Elijah answered. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a chariot of fire appeared, pulled by horses of fire. The chariot drove right between the two men. Then Elijah was lifted up into the chariot and quickly carried to heaven by a strong wind called a whirlwind. Elijah dropped his cloak as the chariot took him up. Elisha picked it up and held it close. He looked up into the sky. He looked as hard as he could. But the chariot of fire and the horses of fire and his friend Elijah had all disappeared. Elisha walked back to the Jordan River. He stopped and rolled up Elijah's cloak, just as Elijah had, and he struck the water with it. The water of the river divided. Elisha walked back across the Jordan River on dry land. Now he was sure that he would carry on Elijah's work. Elisha knew that God had given him power. He would serve God just as Elijah had. For all of his days, he was God's servant, and he used the power God gave him to help others. God will give you power too, power to obey him and to do good all the days of your life. For this week's activity, we will make a simple pinwheel. For this, you need a square sheet of paper about 6 inches. It can be colored. You need a ruler, pencil, scissors, stick, and tack. With your square sheet of paper, trace 4 diagonal lines from the corner of the square toward the center. Cut partway across each line, but do not cut all the way to the center or your pinwheel will fall apart. After cutting, bring every other corner of the paper that's cut to the center. Do not fold the paper, you want it to remain curved. At the end of this, push the tack through and make sure that all corners of the paper have been punctured by the pin and the pin goes out the middle of the paper. After this, take your stick and press your tack into the stick. Then, give your pinwheel a test spin. Then go outside with your parents. Discuss the answers to questions such as, where did God take Elijah? Or, how do you think it felt to ride in God's chariot? As you enjoy nature, remind the boys and girls that God had the power to take Elijah up, up and away. Boys and girls, remember our message for this week. God gives us power.